bring in the kids.
Dear Jansen, that the kids would choose.
A simple choice. We give them the choice. They can live with the 456 in peace, with no suffering for life, or they could live on Earth where they have diseases, and they're almost certainly going to die young.
Okay. Any more questions? Is this for another group?
Yeah, okay. The bottom 10%, it's saying that. You said that kids that are in the bottom 10% are usually because they're not paying attention, not because they're stupid. They are under 12. 4-year-olds in reception aren't going to be judged on they're not going to be sitting there wanting to learn algebra. People in year 6 aren't going to be thinking about, oh, I've got my GCSEs in 7, 8 years, I better be cracking down on my work. How can you tell that they're not going to be clever when they grow up? How can you tell they're kids at that point?
Right.
They're not going to be paying attention to their studies.
Right, when I'm talking about character traits, and these can usually lead to better grades. If somebody has negative character traits that they're really destructive, they like to interrupt a lot, it's not going to be very good when they come to the real world. We might need to rebuild civilization after this.
Okay.
And these aren't the most productive members to have.
Okay. Yes, but is this a question though for random selection?
One for each team to avoid bias.
Right, so we don't have time. Just random
It's
selection.
fine, very quick. Right, random selection one. You want to randomly select one or 1% from all the killed children in the
I don't
country,
want to go to the randomly select children.
or a number of children. The result of that surely is then that you have a random distribution of your selected children across the country as well. How do you go logistically get one child from Middlesbrough and another one from London and end up with all of them at the same place, rather than just saying, here is a school, we'll take all of them because they're all next to each other.
You set bonding group points. So you say Liverpool, Manchester, Carlisle, Reading, for example. Okay, so you take all the children from those cities, say you all meet up here at this point.
These children are going to decide.
No, you're not telling them to go there. You're like saying coaches. You don't have much time, so you have to have transport. The army is not short anymore, but lead them on.
Okay, we're going to move on to these summarisers now. So please note the bottom 10% summariser.
Yes, I'm Simon and I am the summariser for the bottom 10%, and I'm here to reiterate the points my colleagues have previously made. The global society at the moment isn't looking too good, especially in urban areas. We can see that there's a lot of street crime in such areas, and this street crime is usually caused by people who were in the bottom 10% in their youth. And these people in society will usually grow up to become criminals, thieves, and other less than reputable people. The bottom 10% of the youth in society will usually end up being people who will somewhat sponge off of the government and other such resources in society and give little in return. By giving away the bottom 10%, we will be reducing pressure on government resources such as the NHS, police services, and other such emergency services. Another group said earlier on that people in this bottom 10% would have some chance of becoming very successful people later in life. But this would seem to be a far smaller chance than people who are intellectually better than these people. So I wouldn't see why that would be a reason to keep these people in society over other people.
Okay. Please know the random selection summariser takes the floor.
Right, Joe.
Go, ready, go ahead.
Okay. I believe that the idea of picking children from third world is a bad idea because it's simply racism. Picking children who are a little less fortunate than us and have not had that opportunity to be as good as in life. Say if you're born into a family which is very poor, obviously there's very less chance that you're going to get the opportunity to get a decent education. So these kids would not have the choice to be rich and be successful in life, and so just because they didn't have their choice and because of their heritage, they would simply be chosen to simply sent off to the 4, 5, 6, and I find this wrong. Random selection doesn't do this, because anyone could be selected. The bottom 10% is killing off, as I said before, it's killing off school failures. But geniuses like Einstein and Richard Branson, so using this could deprive us of all great minds. It's also cruel to the families of these children who would sink further into debt, simply because when those kids would grow up, they would work for them. So killing those kids would make life harder for those families. Also, although test scores would be a good indicator, so you say, there would, again, as I said, there would be little opportunity for those children with no education to show how clever they can really be. So if there's no test to show how good a child can do in society, then bottom 10% really wouldn't work. It would be as bad as the third world. So those of you who chose peace,
Sorry, I got started there. 1.5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The third world summariser takes to the floor. Yeah. And no, sum up why they're important.
Okay, we're ready, yeah.
Okay, first of all, let's just reiterate, when we send the children, if we do to the 4, 5, 6, they're not going to be killed. They are just going to be, they're just not going to suffer at all. They won't feel anything. What I'm going to say is, first of all, to war and peace, what you're saying is based on we don't know for definite that they're actually going to do that. What our suggestion for the third world or any other proposition which is giving the children away, at least we have a definite, at least we know for definite what we're doing. For example, war, you don't know for definite at all what they're going to do in return, once we've maybe sent off nuclear warheads and stuff like that. And to the bottom 10%, not all of them are going to be criminals, because it's under 12s, children 12 and under. So how can you say at all at this stage if they're going to be criminals? Random selection. But the bottom 10%, they're not. Wrong one. This is not racism at all, because the third world, they will not get an opportunity in life because the majority will die early on in life. They will not get an opportunity.
It was incredibly high level. We thought you argued incredibly well. And these are really my comments. First of all, are going to be kind of quite, well, not general, but they're going to be points for improvement, okay? Out of the 4 areas where we're thinking about the contents, we're looking actually there at how many points you're making, are you backing it up? We thought that that was quite good, although some teams you have to look at how many points you're making, okay? And there's sort of 1 or 2 people who basically made 4 or 5 points within that 2 minutes. It's not about repeating points, it's about making new points. So really think about that, okay? How many points are you making? You can think about ethical points, you can think about practical points, you can think about how fair it is, but think about all those different areas. And I think there's only 1 or 2 really that packed in the voices. Everyone spoke well. Some of you spoke too fast. Okay, you need to slow down a bit. When you're debating, whilst it's animated, you must have clarity of thought. Because remember, us as judges, we're there trying to listen to your points. And if you go it too fast, we can't do that. Shall I add, actually, Andrew, do you want to add anything to the content of delivery so far? And then we'll go on to structure and persuasiveness in a minute. Have you got anything you'd like to add?
I think so, yes. I should just point out, for those who don't know me, I'm someone who's been debating with the upper school debate society for a while.
And very successfully as well.
Successfully, absolutely, yeah.
Sorry.
Stylistically, from the point of view of competitive debates, I would suggest that some of you seem to forget you only had 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And